Hey everybody, Rob from Karma Comic Chameleon coming at you with another Ask Reddit thread. Before we get into that though, I want to thank you for your continued support. We are on video number 50. Women of Reddit, what are some obvious hints that you made to guys you were into that flew right over their heads? Let's jump right in. Before I started dating my husband, I went swimming at his apartment and asked to take a shower so I could rinse the chlorine out of my hair. Freshly dyed red, wanted to keep it nice. I asked him to untie my bikini top because I couldn't reach it, and he did. I let it fall and turned around to face him topless, and he had left me alone and shut the door behind him. He was a decent guy, I'll give him props for that. I was flirting with this guy all night. He seemed into me, but didn't pick up on my flirting. By the end of the night, I just asked bluntly, "Do you want to have sex?" He said yes. I'd been talking to a girl who was helping me get with a girl I liked. It didn't work out and I was extremely bummed. So the girl who was helping me asked me how I was doing, and then asked what I saw in the girl I was into. Then she started asking about what I want in a relationship. I'm a physical, touchy person, so is she, wow! I'm very open and would like someone else like that. What do you know, so would she. It even got to the point that she said, "It's crazy that we both want the same thing from a relationship," and my dumbass, ignorant ass had the nerve to be surprised when she then told me she liked me, and had liked me for months. She was only helping me get the other girl because she wanted me to be happy. We're dating now, and I treat her like a rare jewel, no worries. Can I take a nap on your bed again? I'm going to take off my pants because I can't sleep with them on. Do you want to take a nap too? Sent a guy friend a picture of me in just a tank top, pulling the lower part of it down to cover my lady bits. Honestly, a really sexy picture, I thought. Also let him know I was bored and lonely. Nothing came from it. He told me a couple weeks later that he had a huge crush on me, but I had moved out of town. I went out with a girl from work to a lounge. I was 19 at the time and she was 22. She ordered an alcoholic drink. I commented on how I can't order one too, cause I'm not old enough. She asked me if I wanted to try some of hers, which I happily accepted. Instead of letting me sip from the cup, she takes a big swig, presses her lips against mine, and lets the liquor pour into my mouth. I thought it was so they won't see me drink. Then she did it one more time. Clearly, I wasn't getting the hint, so she left it at that. I'm a dumbass. She invited me to her flat to hang out, so we hung out. After about an hour, she said, "Do you want to leave?" I said, "No, why?" She said, "Because I brought you back here so we could bang, and you've been trying to make small talk for the last hour." Oh, and that's the story of how I lost my virginity at 21 years old. When I was pretty young, I was at my then girlfriend's house, and she wandered off to the bathroom. Eventually, she called my name. I wandered over and found her in the bathroom doorway mostly nude. She asked if I wanted to help shave her legs. I said, "Nah, that's kinda weird," and wandered off. That's a weird hint, just saying. In a pretty nice but fairly clueless guy's apartment one afternoon just hanging out, making increasing hints that I'd like to get naked and play cowgirl. After about an hour, he said he needed to step out, and as I was getting ready to leave, I basically blocked his hallway and mentioned that I'd never gotten the tour of his place before. He nodded, pointed out the kitchen and the living room. I rolled my eyes and mentioned how nice it would be to see his bedroom. Obligingly, he pointed at the open door of the room and said, "There it is," and then asked if we could get together later in the week. Sigh, sure. 2 hours later, it must have sunk in what I was going after because I got a frantic call asking me to come back to his place. He'd be happy to give me that tour. Sorry, Kevin, but I really did have to meet my folks for dinner that night. I wasn't just making excuses. When I was a young teenager, a girl told me she was going to take a shower and asked if I wanted to join her. I just laughed it off because obviously she must have been joking, right? Right? I still kick myself for that one. I had a girl keep sending me topless pics while she was home alone, but she was pointing out how long her hair was. I was like, "Yeah, your hair is pretty long," laugh out loud. I woke up around 2 in the morning kicking myself for not getting the very obvious hints. Another time, with a complete different girl on our first date, we were watching Ant-Man. I remember joking around saying I could do that about dumb things, making her laugh. Well, when the kissing scene came, she asked, "Can you do that?" while close to my face. I was like, "Man, I don't know, I might have to practice," and then watched the movie. When I dropped her off and was driving home, I had to slap myself. Guy here. I was walking a friend home one evening and I mentioned to her that I am quite oblivious about when a girl likes me. I said, a girl could smack me on the head and I wouldn't realize she was into me. She then smacked me on the back of my head and I responded with, "Ow! What the hell was that for?" This thread has taught me that I need flashing neon signs around my naked body if I want my boyfriend to get the message. Posting for my wife as she's not a Redditor. When we first met, I was still a smoker. She brought in cigarettes the next day, she's never smoked, to give herself an excuse to be around me. She wore the lowest cut top I've ever seen, and when we were alone together, she'd often say she really needed a massage. I went back to hers one evening to help her with her studies, and despite her changing to her underwear partway through, that's exactly what I did. It took me 2 weeks of this to finally click on. Man are dense. Before my now wife and I started dating, she messaged me, "I want you." My response, "Good to know." Luckily, it ended up working out. Very lucky. I will keep posting this every time I see this topic. Ladies, hints are not universal. Your hints are not the same as other women's hints. One woman's flirting is another woman's just being friendly. For every woman complaining about a guy missing the obvious hints, there's another woman complaining about how her friendliness is always mistaken for flirting. Unless you are literally getting naked or touching his pickle, I guarantee that whatever your hint is, it has been done by another woman who wasn't interested in him. Met a nice, interesting, funny boy at a bar, still living at home, relevant, and we talked for a good hour or two. He walked me to the train station and it turns out I just missed the last train home. I said, "Gee, too bad you live with your parents, I could totally crash at your place." He said it's fine and we headed back. He made me up the spare bed at the other end of the house and said goodnight. After a while, I texted him saying I couldn't sleep, did he want company? So we hung out in his room. He invited me into his bed since I looked uncomfortable sitting next to it. We spent the night together in a single bed without a single thing happening. I'd only ever been with one guy, so I just figured I had no mojo. Turns out he was trying to be respectful since he really liked me, and we ended up dating for 5 years. The day my husband, then friend, went to tell me he was into me and wanted to officially start dating, he was super nervous. Since he prompted the date and discussion, I was going to let him start it off, and then I'd just be like, "Yes, me too." While he was unable to communicate for about 10 minutes and was skirting it due to being super nervous, I flat out told him, "You're not going to be rejected, just say it." I must have said it at least 3 times before I gave up and just kissed him. The first time I went out with my current girlfriend, we spent the entire day getting drunk. Toward the end of the day, she started saying things like, "Can we go back to your house and watch a movie?" And, "I don't want to go to another bar, maybe we can do something else?" In my head, I was thinking, is this she trying to tell me something? Probably not. Thankfully, I eventually picked up on it. Guy here went to a concert with an old friend and got drunk. She is from out of town and crashing in my guest room. We get home and she asks if I want to cuddle. I shrugged and said sure, why not? Lay in bed, ready to fall asleep, and she grabs my pickle. In my head, I was like, oh, cuddle. Chatting with him on Facebook every single day for 3 months, inviting him to things, giving him tickets to sports games. 3 months later, he grabbed my hand to help me off a curb, and I didn't let go. Suddenly, he got it. 5 years later, we're still together. I'm less subtle now. I'll just grab his pickle. This will probably never see the light of day, but here's my fun story. Guy here who was just a bit late on the hint. I was really into this girl in high school. One day our friend group was getting milkshakes after finals week was over, and as everyone was leaving, she said that she was going to go home and that nobody would be there. She then turned to me and in front of all of our friends said, "Hey, Gerbach, why don't you come keep me company?" Stupidly, I said no and walked by to my house. about 2 blocks from my house, I sat down for a few minutes to think over my life. That was a fun one, but guys, I gotta go. My wife's on the other side of the room, and she's naked for some reason. I think she might want a blanket. I don't know. Anyway, this is Rob from Karma Comment Chameleon saying thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, like, and share the video with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one.